What do you want?
Well, we were thinking about you and we had a little change of heart. Why lock a fine young lady like you up in a place like this?
You creeps aren't getting any ideas, are you?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Danny here. Today I'm talking to you about Cowboy Bebop. So this is the second Cowboy Bebop manga that came out after the anime aired. This published in April of 99, ended April of 2000, with a total of 11 chapters. Published again in Asuka Fantasy DX. And this is written and drawn by Yutaka Nanten. On my anime list, they have the writers from the show on here as well, but everywhere else I look, it's only just Nanten who wrote it. Again, this was published out here in the States by Tokyo Pop, and it still really feels like Tokyo Pop manga. I dug in a little more into this manga, particularly about the magazine Asuka Fantasy DX, and apparently this magazine was more focused on the shoujo aspect of manga, which makes more sense for the art style in both of these series. This one in particular has more of the shoujo look to it, in which it can be a little off-putting, especially with Spike. He stands out the most. Jet looks the same. Faye and Ed, they look fine. But yeah, with Spike, it's like, yeah, that looks a little off. And that's probably because it's more of a shoujo style. So let's get into it, man. This is just the same thing, right? We see the Bebop crew going about their everyday lives. And with this one, it's more accurate to the anime compared to Shooting Stars. So as Shooting Star was an introduction piece to get people to get into the anime, this manga is for people who want more adventures from the Bebop crew that we didn't get in the anime. So this is something you would read after you watch the show. And each chapter is them just going after a bounty, and it goes by the same structure it does in the show. No references, though, to Vicious, to Julia, anybody's past, really, except for Ed, which is a little bit different. We meet one of her friends before she joined the crew, which I'm pretty sure is not part of the anime originally. So there's that little shakeup there. But other than that, it's just them going on adventures. There's some chapters where it really feels like this could have been in the show, or it got heavily influenced by specific episodes. And those are pretty good. And then the last two chapters, I should point out, is interesting because they're in their own volume. And I'm thinking, why? Okay, there's only two chapters left. How are they going to cover the last volume? And it's because they are massive chapters. I'm talking like 70, 80, maybe 90 pages each. So that was pretty crazy. And I will say the takeaway from those two chapters is they don't even feel that long. The pacing is really good. I'm going to keep saying it. A lot of it is just like the anime. So the pacing is very similar here, and it doesn't feel like it drags on too long. So when I read these last two chapters, it felt like I was just reading the normal other chapters that are usually 30 pages. Each chapter gets you invested just enough to keep going and seeing exactly what's the outcome is going to be. There was one in particular where they touch on something that wasn't really mentioned in the show. And I thought that was pretty nice because it's more exploration of the world. Just like how I said in Shooting Stars, how the beginning of that manga, it kind of touches on what exactly happened on Earth and why everyone lives in the solar system now. And we get some of that here. Stuff about the gates. There's this group that hates technology, wants people to go back to Earth. Everything else, for the most part, is just what you would expect from Cowboy Bebop. Character-wise, everybody feels the same. This is more of the laid-back side of Cowboy Bebop. And that stuff is fun. There's a moment where, Faye's doing this bounty, and something happens, and then we get the crew laughing because they saw it on the news, and just nice banter between all these people. And I should say, yes, and again, no mention of Vicious or Julia, Spike's past, a lot of crucial stuff that people really invested in the anime. And I think that's fine because you don't want a complimentary piece of a series to have important information that could affect how people view the original. So it's understandable. Like I said, this is just for people who want to see more adventures with the crew, and that's all it really needs to be. If they wanted to add Julian Vicious and all that stuff into here, then this would just be like Evangelion. Just make a manga about the series, but it's going to be more in-depth. But that's not what they want here, so it all makes sense. And with that, guys, that's really all I have to say today. Just a short 11-chapter thing. I definitely would say you would be more interested in this one than Shooting Star if you're a huge Cowboy Bebop fan. I looked online to try to see if people talked about these mangas, because it's one of those rare instances, right? We don't see a lot of anime get manga adaptations, especially today, but back in the day, Tokyo Pop era, yeah, there was a few. So I was looking into it, and for the most part, all I could find were not so positive reviews. Maybe it's because it's been a while since I watched the series, but I thought these were fine. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Have you checked these out? You could send an email to unversepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to bring those up on future episodes. And then you could follow us at unversepodcast anywhere on social media, and we'll let you know when those episodes drop. So thank you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.